Is Dia Direct Smith Taylor, and I have been in Dallas for about 10 years. I came here to be the producer for the Tom Joyner Morning Show. I produced the show for close to 10 years, and in addition to that, I've written 3 books. One is called Touch Yourself, 30 Ways to Boldly Live, Love, and what? Let Go. The second book, which is an Amazon bestseller, is called Failure is Fuel. And the book that got us here today is called Soft is the New Power. Has anybody read it? Has anybody at all read it? Well, you will after tonight. Okay, a couple of people have read it. I might call on you a little later. And so Soft is the New Power is about embracing your feminine edge to win in love and life. And so I'm going to tell you why I'm having that conversation, because by my name being Dia Direct, the idea that God is playing a trick on me and telling me to talk about being soft is like really, really funny. So when I wrote this book, most people were like, soft? Really? Hypocrite! But how many people know that a lot of times you have to be tested in order to have a testimony, and you have to be tried in order to understand what it means to pass a test? And so I have been through a lot that I'm going to share with you that's gotten me to this very profound moment in my life. And I really believe that it's going to speak to you right where you are. We're going to have a very open and vulnerable conversation. We're going to have a girlfriend's conversation. So I want you to feel free to be real with me, because I'm going to be real with you. Is that all right?
All right. Yeah.
So we came to be real, right? Nobody ain't got time for some fake, that's just one-way conversation on a rainy day. We're going to go all the way in. So let's do this. So I want to give you a little bit of more history about me. I was a theater major at Howard University, and while I was there, happened to be classmates with a young lady by the name of Taraji Henson. Anybody heard of her? Yeah. So let's just say, by us all being in the theater department, we were all about the drama. And so I've always been extremely dramatic, whether in life or on the stage. Now, what's interesting is, I was that young girl, and I know there's somebody in here who may be able to relate, who grew up in a single-parent home. Any single-parent homes in here ever? My mom, I always found herself in, I would say, abusive relationships, whether it was financial or physical. And so if anybody in here is anything like me, and you may be seeing your mother go through some changes, or family members, you spend a lot of your life saying, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to do everything in my life to make sure I don't go through that, or I'm going to be better than that, or her, or whatever it was that you saw. And so what ends up happening is, a lot of times when it comes to our heart issues, we end up trying to be what we didn't like. And so we spend more energy on what we don't like and less energy on what we do, which means you're not necessarily functioning from a progressive perspective. Now, why do I share that with you? Because in my quest to be better, to matriculate, to be smart, a lot of times you don't always process your heart condition. You don't always process, where you're wounded. And so we often choose relationships from a place of being wounded, and not necessarily from really understanding who we are, what we want or deserve. Having said all that, regardless of how smart I was and how educated I was, and the fact that I had just gotten finished being Miss Black USA and traveling the world, speaking and encouraging women all the way to Africa, when it came to matters of the heart, I wasn't as progressive as I thought I was. And so what happened was, being the good Christian girl that I was trying to be, and believe it or not, going through 4.5 years of Howard University, completely celibate, which was a miracle all by itself. Okay? Especially if you had already dipped in the pool. And then you said, I'm going to give my life to God, and I'm not going to do nothing. That's not easy to do. There. Anyway, so that was me. That was my college experience. And so I was really, serious about wanting to be a woman of God and give my life to God. And I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but sometimes, even in the church, sometimes we're so busy trying to be what we think we should be that we really have no idea who we are or what we like. We're just trying to follow the rules. And so what happens is, oftentimes it's easy to become judgmental when you're in the church if you haven't had certain experiences. You can't really relate to some of the things that somebody might do, or bad choices, or unfortunate decisions that people might make. And you know, it's easy to say things like, well, why would they do this? Why would they do that? And if you've grown up at all, you've come to realize, like I have, that you have no idea what you're made up of until you're tested. You have no idea what you will or won't do until you put in that situation. It's easy when you're in a safe environment to say, oh, I would never. Well, how do you know that? You really don't know what your never is because you have never been what? Tested. So you don't know what you're made of. And so you don't really learn those things until life begins to happen. And you get out, and things happen to you, and then all of a sudden you surprise yourself. Like, oh, well, I didn't think I would. Well, see, what had happened was, now we have a what had happened was because it's happened to you. So I had been covered and kind of sheltered once I gave my life to Christ. I had been exposed to a lot before then, but after the fact, I wanted to get married. And let me just take a brief caveat, because when I graduated, I had a choice. I had a choice to go and pursue my career and to go out to Hollywood or to New York to be an actress, or I was in a relationship, and my fiance at the time, you know, really didn't understand the business of entertainment, and said things to me like, well, you know, you got to get a job and then we can go to Hollywood. Well, if you know anything about the entertainment business, it doesn't work like that. You have to be there to win in the industry. And so I found myself in a very precarious situation. Now, I told you that people call me Dia Direct, right? I've always been bold and outgoing and, you know, have plenty to say, but that was my personality on one end, but there was another part of me that was underdeveloped. There was still that little girl inside of me who was scared to do life by herself, who was afraid to fail, who didn't want to be embarrassed because what if it didn't work?